Yeah, right. So it's going to be a long update. If you're not following this build, you probably want to go on by. Uh, got a lot of work done this weekend. The car is back together with the new built trans from Coastal Carolina converters and the original torque converter, the 273 that came on the C5. Got the upper arms installed, and those things are sexy as hell. Like, whew, so pretty. So nice looking. The lowers are not going to be here for another month, but I'm slowly ticking off the pieces of this car that are still stock. Let's see. Got the airbox installed. We cranked it up and ran it through the gears to fill the transmission, and everything works as expected. Finally got the front wheels off. The wheel adapters that were on here, they were like 0.1 millimeter interference with the stock Corvette wheels that I was running for a while. So when I got these big ass spacers off, it like chipped. It's kind of hard to see, but yeah, see it there. It chipped those up to get them off. They went on tight. Now we know why. I guess size does matter. This was most of my weekend, honestly. The new Toolbox. So Harbor Freight is here in my town, and I had never been to a Harbor Freight before, right? So I went there with the intention of getting one of these big boxes, and filling it full of tools. I ended up spending about $4,000, but I picked up quite a lot of tools for that amount. I haven't finished filling up everything, but it's pretty good. This is where the electrical's going. A couple little things, bunch of zip ties. Those big boys. Yeah, if you ever need to like fight somebody, like big ass hand for reference. God damn, those are sick. And picked up. Oh, there's the other handles I was missing. Cool. Picked up some cool tools. Some various pliers, a bunch of quick clamps. Picked up, where is it? Yeah. Got a nice rivet gun. Looks pretty good. This is a rivet nut gun, a riv nut. Got the other ones, I used it for the differential, but got a couple of these transfer pumps to put oil in and out of the transmission, which is kind of nice. A ton of lights. I got like 4 rechargeable LEDs and a screwdriver set with all the things, and some of these. Thinking about putting this on the car. Not fast, just loud. And these are pretty good. Everything's got magnets, which, had never occurred to me to be like a really cool thing for this. So I got a whole bunch of magnet, accessories. And then all the lights are magnets. And then I got a ton of these trays so that I can, use them like that. So new rule is, if a tool comes out of the toolbox, it's either in your hand or in one of these magnet trays. So I figured I'd get a bunch of them. That way you could have tools laying around, but you don't have to worry about, things disappearing into the void like they tend to do underneath the car. The old diff got hosed. There's another video up. Goal for next weekend is to take a day, pull everything out of the shop. It's just an absolute clusterfuck. Stuff just, builds up when you've got all these wheels and tires and aluminum and just stuff. Get everything tool-wise that can go into the new toolboxes and get them organized into the new toolboxes, and then everything that can't go in, like this big ass scrap aluminum from my failed roll cage firewall attempt harness bar that I ended up replacing with that big boy. Gonna break that down and get it all stacked up neat. Get the toolbox over here in the corner. Wednesday, they're putting in a mini split 1.5 ton air conditioning unit, and so we'll have that going for us. Gonna foam in the garage door and put in a dehumidifier to cut all this South Carolina humidity out. But the good news is the only thing that's holding the car back from driving again is the front suspension. Needs to be dialed in a little bit, but I've got a new alignment kit, so I won't have to do all that stuff by eyeball. It turns out I'm pretty good at eyeballing a suspension, but you can't get it, you can't get it close to perfect. But I could probably get it in, 1/2 degree of spec, which is generally what they consider good enough with my eyeballs. I've got some really flashy new aluminum sheets that are coming in. It's a laser cut design mesh. It's like long ovals all across here for the ventilation into the radiators. And this is getting scoops across here to help funnel air down into the radiators. Over there you can see red silicone rubber, high temp, silicone, which is going to be used to duct around this, around the radiator, which will seal that off. And then I've got the plasma cutter figured out, and I've got sheets already cut for the other side to go on the bottom here, and that'll seal up the bottom and protect it from rocks, as well as helping to duct air and let air get sucked through and blown through the radiator. So I need to adjust the front suspension. The new wheels to match the rears are supposed to be here tomorrow. They're 18x9 weld forged custom built wheels. They're super light, like wow, definitely the lightest wheels that size I've ever held. Just incredible. Made in the USA, kind of cool. I've got the sticky Toyo Proxy RR tires to go on the back. And I've got them to go on the front as well. I just need to get the wheels in tomorrow, and we can get those mounted up. They should mount pretty close here pretty close to right here. I think they're 4.5 inch back spacing. So it should cover the caliper pretty well. I have the big spacers that I can add on to move them out. If the Ackerman configuration, we've got this set for 0 degrees of Ackerman. I need to check the Ackerman reading with the new wheels. And if they can support it, then I'm going to space them out some to try to get to 0 degrees of Ackerman. But we are really close. The only thing that needs to happen, the front suspension geometry, just need to line it up a little better. It's mostly just toe. It's got toe in. These are loose, so it's hard to tell. But it's got toe in. The camber's pretty close to right. The back, we're gonna mount the tail lights. So we cut this off this weekend, which is one of my favorite accomplishments, something I've been wanting to do. This post right here used to come out like that far, and it covered the bolt, which is how you take this off to adjust the camber without affecting the toe. So you couldn't get to it easily. You basically had to remove it. The tail lights used to be mounted right here. You can see when we cut it, we cut through the tail light, so you've got a little spot to hook with a screwdriver or a probe or whatever to pop these end caps off. And that looks really cool, but now we've lost our tail lights, right? So what we're gonna do is on this wing, utilize this adjustment hole that we literally never use, and come off with a bracket and mount the tail lights and turn signals right here up high on this wing. Because as you might notice, this car is extremely low. There's about maybe 4 inches of ground clearance on the side here. And this is like, 14 inches tall, and the wing's only maybe 3 feet tall. So getting those lights up high where people can see them is probably important for street driving. We're gonna have to figure something out with regards to the tail light. We're gonna have to figure out something else with regards to the license plate and license plate light, but so be it. The new screen is going to go in here. That's why I ordered it, is this didn't fit. There are no mistakes in fabricating, just happy little accidents. Because this didn't fit the way that I wanted it to, I ended up finding way better stuff. So that's kind of cool. The airbox is pretty fly. It's certainly more than what the car needs in terms of performance, but what we want to do is take this 12-inch inlet, 6-inch outlet, velocity stack that is laying over there, and I'm gonna mount it right there so that it's behind the driver's head in the cage, and duct it into the airbox so that we can get just as much cool air as possible. Engines be hot. But I am feeling extremely positive about the build progress. Things are starting to make a lot of sense and come together. The thing I'm most excited about that's coming is the front end replacement. So the roll bar was kind of temporary. I needed it so that I could participate in a drift event that I really wanted to go to with this thing, and get some educational time with some really good drifters. A big shout out to Catch My Drift, and Joe Gorski, and everyone else that participated. It was like 6 of those guys there. Super, super fun day. Really, really good information. The seat position is not terrible because I do like being flat and L-shaped in the car. Like the bottom of the seat is really flat. That doesn't bother me as much as the knee position, which is horrible. So my knees are basically right here. So they're literally like next to the steering wheel. And when I steer, I have to like push my knee into this, ended up bruising my leg over there, push my knee into that, ended up bruising my leg over there in the race. So it's super uncomfortable. The steering wheel's too low and the pedals are too high and the pedals are too close. So you can see this really close pedal distance to the seat. It's like maybe 20 inches. And what we're doing is we're replacing this entire piece of steel. So it's this bar and the connector, the bar that goes along right here on both sides. All of that is coming out, that's what holds the steering, that's what holds the electronics, the dashboard, and everything. And all of that's coming out. We're gonna take the seat, move it so that it's got a slightly reclined bottom position and back position. So the whole seat is gonna come forward a little and then recline back like that so that it goes up into the rail, the harness bar a little bit better, and replace this with something that comes much higher, that brings the steering wheel up, that takes the pedals and moves them forward. You might be thinking, wow, your feet are going to be in front of the car. That's stupid. Here's the fun part. It's going to move those forward. We're going to put in a panel over the steering components and everything so you don't kick anything or break anything. And out of the frame rails, there's these 2-inch by 4-inch, 1/4-inch wall aluminum frame rails. And across the top are going to be mount points where the cage mounts in and comes out here. And this whole front end is going away. There'll be a crash bar in the front. We're mounting that 80-inch carbon fiber wing up here. It's going to be super good. Give us some front end traction, which should potentially help with the start, like initiation of drifts. The cage is going to go all the way up to basically driver eye level so that we can move all this stuff forward and out, and then cage in here. Bars across the top, so shoulder bars, and it's going to have netting to keep my hands from flying out. If it's in a rollover situation, I don't have to worry about breaking my arms, because all of this stuff here happens because I can use my hands at work and clickety on the computer. So no clickety, no zoom. What else? I guess that's it. So that's a status update. It's going to be raining literally all week. If there's a patch where it's not raining, car's already pretty well tuned, transmission's reasonably tuned, provided there's no gotchas anywhere. Plan to be cruising around Myrtle Beach with this on the weekend. So if any guys are out in the beach area, hit me up, and we can cruise down the boulevard or something. Waste some time. We'll see whose car gets stared at the most. Later.